E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live, also on Amazon Fire TV, and to Twitch. Also, Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Friday, Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, we're going to wrap up our week, but we're also going to be talking on, this week is, of course, Skills for Teens on how to dress for success.
Oh, yeah, because, you know, you take two applications, resumes, they're same, and the dress can be the thing that puts you over the top. It really could be. We're going to cover a lot of good stuff today because a lot of kids, you know, they really don't know. When I say kids, teenagers, young people, they really don't know what it takes to put forth a good, positive impression, and that is mandatory for someone that's looking for a job.
Absolutely.
Today is March the 24th.
25th.
25th, is it? Okay. Well, it was 24th yesterday, so it's got to be 25th. Yeah. You know, Donna, times good help's hard to find.
Whoa, you're telling me, buddy.
I know it. But, you know, today is National Lobster Newburgh Day.
Yeah. That yummy sauce that's made for lobster.
Mercy.
It's got butter and cream and sherry and a little cayenne pepper and some eggs in there and yummy.
And some cognac, doesn't it? Have a little
cognac, or I said sherry, but it's cognac, yeah.
Cognac, okay. And it's really a great, delicious dish. It really is. And today is also the day we recognize the Medal of Honor winners. And these people have been awarded the Medal of Honor, and my goodness gracious, a lot of them that served in the military who put their life in danger to save others, and some lost their life in the process who were also awarded the National Medal of Honor.
Absolutely.
And it really takes a very, very, very special thing. And you know, Donna, I'd just like to say one thing when it comes to courage. We've all seen these movies, you know, where the guy always looks like, you know, he's an excellent weightlifter and all handsome, looks like he'd be on the football team and all that. But in reality, the true people that actually are heroes, when you look at the list and you read what they do, some of these guys, they look just like an average guy in school, right? You know, wearing glasses, all that. And, you know, and they would throw themselves on a grenade, losing their life to save their friends.
And that's been done.
Oh, yeah. But my point being is that you never judge a book by its cover. But when you see what these guys do, and you look at their picture, you wouldn't think that they would have that kind of courage. Right. But they really, really do. And just recognizing what they did, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, we salute you all.
Yes. And also for the wonderful doctors out there, this is National Physicians Week. And we need to show appreciation for our doctors because they invest a lot of time and money to pursue their dream to become a doctor.
To help us.
Yes, in our hour of need. I mean, that is a gift that I don't have.
Right.
I mean, I don't even like to look at my finger I banged up. And I sent Donna a picture of it, just to let her know that I was, for sympathy, and I didn't get any. But, hey, you got to try it once in a while.
Oh,
And,
Jim, if I gave you sympathy for every owie you got, I'd be on
oh,
my phone all day long.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm beyond help. Tomorrow, I'd like to cover a few things on Saturday. National Nugget Day. Oh my goodness, nugget. Yeah. Mm. It's also the National Wear a Hat Day. Can you imagine that? Wear a hat day?
Well,
And
my husband wears a hat pretty much every day.
mhm. I used to wear baseball caps a
That's
lot
what
when
he
I was
wears.
younger. Yeah, yeah. And also tomorrow is National Spinach Day.
Ooh, I love spinach.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, I ate spinach because Popeye the Sailor could, and whenever he wolfed down a can or sucked it through his
Got
pipe or
them big
whatever,
arms.
oh yeah, he was a man and a half. How about this one here? Make up your own holiday. Oh my goodness, make up your own holiday. You could have a lot of fun with that, couldn't you, Donna?
Oh, you could. You could. That would
Mm.
be a fun activity for a family.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And tomorrow's also, we want to give a shout out to our good friends over there in Bangladesh. We've got a lot of people who view the show, and it's their Independence Day in Bangladesh. And we want to
Oh,
be, yeah, we want to reach out to them. And also, tomorrow is Epilepsy Awareness. It's called the Purple Day. So make sure you read up on that a little bit, and because epilepsy, that is something that most people are not aware of it. At least I'm not. And
um, I unfortunately am. I had a really good friend in Kansas whose daughter was epileptic, and
mhm.
she ended up dying at quite a young age.
Mm.
She had just gotten married. She hadn't been married all that long,
Wow.
and she died in her sleep from an
Mm.
epileptic attack.
From a seizure, bless her
Mhm.
heart. I
Yep.
knew a lady back in the 70s, and she suffered from that quite a bit. And bless her heart, she had these different scars and stuff you'd see on it where she'd just fall and, suffer an injury.
Yeah,
And
I worked with people who've had epileptic
mhm,
seizures, and
yeah,
immediately spring into action to move everything out of their way
mhm,
so that
yeah,
they don't hit a metal leg on a table or what have you.
mm,
And of course,
yeah.
obviously call 911.
Yes, yes. And that is something that, we all need to be aware of and to look after. And also, tomorrow, I like this here: live long and prosper. My goodness gracious. That has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Our wish
And,
for everyone.
oh, yeah. But we want to get rolling here into the show and cover some things, because one of the things we want to cover that teenagers need to know is how to dress,
Right.
because they could put together a great resume, a great cover sheet, have everything look good. And then when they come in, a lot's going to be judged on their appearance.
Right. And dressing for the job you're applying for is a big one,
Yes. Hmm.
right? So
It really is.
obviously, if you are applying for a construction job, you don't
Hmm.
want to show up in slacks and a sport coat and a tie.
Right. Right. You want to look like you're just ready to go to work, in other words.
Exactly.
That's a
Exactly. Clean
good,
pair of
that's,
jeans, nice shirt, clean, your
hmm
work boots, that's fine,
hmm
and rock and roll the interview.
yeah. I knew one guy who was a construction worker, and he went for a job interview, and he carried with him his hard hat. And that means I'm ready to go to work.
Right.
And he obviously got the job, but dress for the job that you're applying for. That's
Well,
critical.
and it's essential because
Hmm.
our our clothes, so many of our clothes have changed today, what our young folks wear,
Hmm.
uh, compared to, when you and I were teenagers,
Oh yeah.
right? Um, uh, but back then, I mean, and I'm just going to say this, thank God nylons aren't a big thing anymore.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because in Phoenix, Arizona, In the middle of summertime, let me tell you, when you wear some nylons, those things are hot.
Hmm. I'm glad for that tip. I'll make sure I don't wear my nylons out there in
I know
Phoenix.
I've talked to you about it, Jim, and you keep getting them out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's amazing. It really is because whatever's in style, but also remember that do not dress on a job interview like you're going to, I'll say, a store shopping. Okay.
Or out with friends or
Yes.
something like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it
Now,
needs to be a little bit more conservative.
yes, definitely conservative. If it's a inside sales position, or you're going to be working inside of a business where customers are coming in, you want to have kind of like a button-down shirt or something like that. You want to have some dark slacks.
A nice,
Uh,
a nice shirt, nice blouse for a woman, uh,
mhm,
and pants are fine. Nice
mhm,
pants, a skirt,
yeah.
a dress.
Mhm. And also, too, if you're a lady, make sure it's a dress that is appropriate for a business.
Hmm.
And, don't wear something too short or too revealing or anything like that because that's a very negative image you'll be displaying there in the interview
Right,
because they're going to say, hey, if you show up like this for an interview, you're going to show up like that for the job. It
right.
also sends off a very positive, signal that I've got enough respect for myself and for you and this job that I chose to dress nice for this job.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
That's super important. That
Mhm.
is just so important.
Yeah.
And, it's okay depending on what the job is,
Mhm. Yeah.
okay, for women to wear, a skirt with a little blazer or pants with a little
Mhm.
blazer, something like
Right.
that. That's extremely appropriate and
Mhm.
business appropriate.
Yes. Yes, it is because they're wanting you to, project a positive image to their customers.
Absolutely. You are the reflection
Yeah.
of that company.
Now, I know tattoos are very, very popular. I realize that. But in a lot of business, people will not say it who are interviewing you. But if you got all these tattoos and stuff that you're proud of and you like, if I was you, I would get a long sleeve shirt and cover them up. I really, truly would. I would suggest that because some folks, they won't say it. But if you got a lot of tattoos and stuff, it's a turnoff for them. It really is. I mean, a lot of the thinking in the business world is still old school. And so just keep that as in mind as a friendly hint, just to give you every advantage that you can. And
And especially determining what kind of job it is you're applying for.
exactly, exactly. And you want to pay attention to details and you want to make sure your clothes are not wrinkled or anything like that. You want to look, very professional, very polite, and you want to make sure that you are. I got a phone. I've got the mute here. I'm sorry about that. But you want to make sure that you look like you're ready to go to work. I
Right.
keep saying that, but that's critical. And
Absolutely.
yeah, in fact, this note right here just popped up says, depending on your employer, you may decide to cover your tattoos or piercings, although this is optional in some companies, but also consider your hair, your nails, your makeup. Try to keep your general appearance neat and professional. And another nicety to know, every time before I get on the show, I always try to make sure my fingernails are clean like this here.
Right. Well,
That is critical.
and here's another one. Is piercings. So we're
Oh, yeah.
talking about, eyebrow or nose piercings, and I have my nose pierced.
Mhm.
Um, but there are, especially in fast food companies, there's a lot of teenagers, start out in fast food companies, and a lot of them will not let you
Mhm.
wear your piercing.
Health reasons.
Correct.
Mhm.
So, if that's the case, they sell them. They're basically a skin toned um, piercing. You know,
Mhm.
a nose ring or whatever, but it's a little, I call them a plug, I guess, a little plug that you can put in there, and it's the color of your skin, so that obviously the hole doesn't close, but it's skin covered.
And if it does close, you can just get a hammer and nail and reopen it again.
Dude, that's painful. I mean, when I first got mine, until I got the right nose stud, that sucker kept falling out every time I went to sleep, and I'd have to re-pierce it in the morning. And oh my God, I mean, we're talking for 3 weeks this happened. It hurt.
Yeah. I tell you, it's but I'll be aware of those things, because all these little things can make the difference.
It really, really can.
And you want to make sure you look neat and very professional at all times, because that's what you're going to be judged on. They're going to judge you on your appearance.
Right.
And a lot of teenagers don't realize that.
Oh, absolutely. So, you want to make sure your nails are done clean, your makeup's done professionally, all of that. And here's something else. And of course, I'm a woman and I love my perfumes, but in today's society, and not spraying a perfume too heavy, because some people are highly allergic to perfumes.
Yes, they are.
So
Yes,
just as far as perfume goes, just a dab will do you. Same with cologne, or for the men.
Right.
But here's something else, Jim.
Okay.
We didn't touch on this, but researching the organization's dress code.
Bingo. That's a great point, Donna. That's a huge point. Great point that you made right there.
Go to their website, because I guarantee you, when you go to their website, they're going to have pictures. They're going to talk about what the company does, et cetera, et cetera. As you go through, you're going to see pictures, and you're going to see how the people are dressed. And that is your clue on how you want to dress for that job.
That's right. Because they want you to look, they want you to look like you fit in there. That's the way you want to appear. Donna, that's a great point that you brought up. I didn't even think of that, but that's an excellent idea, because because all the businesses, they'll have pictures of what their staff looks like. It may be a Photoshop picture or whatever, but they're not going to have a bunch of people there in overalls and cutoffs and all that stuff.
Right. And if by chance you're applying to a company that does not have a website, a really good way to get an idea how people dress is go there and get in the parking lot, and at quitting time, and the people come out, you can see how they're dressed.
You're exactly right. That's another great point, Donna. It really is. It just means you go the extra mile to show them that you fit in there. And the neater you look, the more professional you look, trust me, you will outshine the average person going in, because they'll just wear whatever they feel like they want to wear.
Right. As my mom used to say, trying to slap pig on it, or lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, I tell you, that'd be a sight, wouldn't it?
And this is something else, and this is important. Today's show is called Dress for Success for a reason. When you pick out your outfit, find something that makes you feel confident, powerful. I mean, we all have those outfits that make us feel good, right? This is super cute.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good when I wear it, and you need to find that outfit that makes you feel really confident and powerful, because that's the image that you're wanting to portray to get that job.
And you may just have one outfit just specifically for job interviews.
Right.
That, because they're not going to know if you wore that outfit somewhere else or anything like that. But, invest in yourself. And that's a great way of doing it. And Donna, let's talk a little bit about what they should not wear. Going here, there's a website here called The Balanced Careers, and they talk about what not to wear on a job for teens.
Well, that's just as important. So obviously you don't want to wear skirts or dresses that are really short. You don't want to wear a mini skirt. You don't want to do a midriff where it shows your belly.
Right.
You don't want to show too much of the
Cleavage.
cleavage, the
Mhm.
girls.
Right.
Don't
Right.
want to do that. You really have to think about this from the perspective of
Mhm.
what it is that you're trying to portray,
Mhm.
right? Those are great to wear when you're out with your friends or what have you, however it is you dress. But in the business world, that's not acceptable. It
You
just isn't.
you're exactly right, and don't wear things like flip-flops or denim jeans or stuff like that. That's just too casual.
Right. Now, jeans are great for construction jobs, that kind of thing.
Right, right. But, whenever you show up, I'm talking about, going to work for an inside or a regular inside
Mhm.
business or a regular company or
Oh, absolutely.
even online. You wanna make sure, this is what I look like, and this is the
Mhm.
way I'm gonna be dressed when I'm working, because they don't want some guy sitting there in a tank top
Right.
that hadn't shaved. I mean, I know that people can, don't have to shave every day, but you know what I mean? Their hair is all messy and all that, and
Right.
I've seen people like that.
Mhm.
I really have.
I've seen people when I worked in Ohio at a print on demand company.
Mhm.
So highly,
Yeah.
highly OSHA safety conscious because
Yes.
you're talking big, huge machinery, right?
Right.
And I saw a guy come in his first day of work during peak season. The company would always hire a lot of temporaries because there was just, we literally ran the company, the printing portion, what we did 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
So there was, shifts going all the time. He showed up the first day in sandals,
Oh my goodness.
right?
Yeah. When we did some work for Alcoa out there, we lined their 12-mile long conveyance system there at the Sandow mine. Then we got hired to redo the work of another vendor at the Three Oaks mine. That was 18 miles long. We had to be MSHA certified. That's Mine Safety Health Administration
Mhm.
certified, which is the mine version of OSHA.
Right.
And I'm telling you, if you had any type of violation out there, they could write you up, and God only knows what that would cost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just amazing the attention to detail you got to fit into that job, just like a piece of puzzle fits in the puzzle where it should fit.
Absolutely.
That should be your
Absolutely.
mindset.
Right.
And
So super important. And also, um, nothing too bright.
right.
I mean, color is good,
Mhm.
but you don't want to wear, bright, fuchsia yellow, fuchsia green.
Mhm.
You don't want to wear those super bright colors. You want to make sure that
Right.
it's coordinated. Again, a little bit more conservative.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
you want to wear a colored blouse and you've got, a great jacket to go over it, or
Mhm.
that's totally fine.
And anything on your clothing, like an emblem, like if it's Nike or something like that, that's perfectly fine. But don't have words on there or some calls on there that may be near and dear to your heart, because keep it separate. Your private life and your professional life are two different lives. They
Right.
must coincide, but don't wear something that you think can make you feel proud and stand out. This is what I believe in,
Right. Right. That's
because it could be, yeah, it could be viewed very offensive. And the guy may, or the gal sitting on the other side may take one look at you wearing that outfit and say, so what?
right.
you know and it's very, very important, because I've had people come in for a job, looking for a job, and they got all this these statements that are not positive or anything like that. I mean, if it's something, I'm just trying to think of an example that's acceptable. Anything that's clean and not controversial, anything
Not political.
controversial, yeah,
You don't
oh,
want anything
forget
political.
political,
You don't
forget
want
that.
anything political. You don't want
Yeah.
anything religious because
Uh-uh.
those need to be, like church and state. They need to be
Yeah.
separated.
Yeah, because that's like a friend of mine told me when he went to barber school. They spent almost 1 hour the very first day, might have been longer. He says it was at least an hour telling us that you do not discuss politics and religion in your barbershop
Right.
because it's just too volatile. It really is.
Right.
And if you show up like that, they're not going to hire you because they're going to be hiring a problem. Think about that. If you make that statement, when you're being interviewed, you'll make that statement elsewhere, and they don't need a headache.
Right.
What they're looking for is to have an employee comes in that's an asset to the company, who is a team player, who fits in and would be accepted by the other members of the team.
Right.
They're not going to hire you if you're a knucklehead.
Well, let's move to something else that's important to understand: our shoes.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay. So when you go in, you want to make sure that your shoes aren't all scuffed up.
Right.
Don't have to be brand new. You don't have to put a ton of money into it, but you want to make sure they're clean. They're free of scuffed, super scuffed and rips. And you want something that is comfortable. And let me tell you why, especially for us women. Back in the day, I wore super high heels, 4 inches. I wear short high heels these days, prefer boots, or prefer to actually just be barefoot, but that doesn't work in public. So there you are.
Well, you were barefooted when you got pregnant. I saw the picture.
So, but here's why I say that. A lot of times, as young girls, we're so excited to wear our super high heels. You may be going on a walk of the whole area. And so you have to know that you don't know how big that place is. You need to know that you are going to be comfortable walking and standing for maybe a half an hour.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's important. And us girls, we know those high heels, they sure are pretty, but man, they can hurt our feet.
Oh yeah, especially if you put together a great resume and a cover sheet, and they're saying, "Wow, I'm really leaning towards this person here," and then as a lady, you show up and you look first class, you're dressed appropriately, respectfully, and all that. They may be taking you around to different places. This, and I mean, this could happen. So you need to be prepared.
It's happened to me in the past.
Oh yeah, I like what you said there about your shoes. Because we're talking right now about preparation.
Right.
Putting your best foot forward, no pun intended. Because if they look at your shoes and all that and they see they're all scruffed and all that, that shows a lack of respect for you. It really does.
Make sure they're cleaned up, they're dusted off. I've got shoes that I don't wear real often. And when I pull them out, you know what? I got to dust them off.
Sure.
Right.
And how expensive is a small can of wax? I mean, it's if you want to go that route,
Right. And you can get the clear wax that gives them a shine, a little what we call a spit shine. So it doesn't change the color, but it buffs them out, and it gives them, once you put it on there and rub that in and then shine it out, it gives them a nice shine.
Yeah, it does, because when I was in the military, they used to ask me, how do you get your boots so spit shined? Well, I use the black wax, of course, but then I'd use the clear, because the clear removes that residue on there.
Right.
It kind of it looks like a mirror that's been streaked, and you clean that off, and it's just bright and shines. Of course, you're not wanting to go to a job interview with spit shine shoes, but the clear is a good way to go. And also, too, there are stain waxes out there. If you got brown shoes or black shoes and they're kind of scuffed up, Lincoln stain wax is what I used to use, and I don't get paid anything from or anything like that, but it will also cover up those imperfections.
Yeah, the little nicks.
Yeah,
the little nicks.
If the shoes look a little worn, the color's kind of worn, that'd be a good way to go. And it's not expensive, but
here's the thing: you can take a pair of shoes, and I've done it. I did it for my oldest son. I took a pair of shoes that were. They looked tired, is I guess the best way to put it. They looked really tired. And I took some wax and showed him how to put it on, shine his shoes, get the excess off, and then shine them like crazy, right? when it was all said and done, I kid you not, it looked like a whole different shoe.
Absolutely, because you just put the wax on there and I buff it off with a brush, then
Yep.
get an old T-shirt and just rub it.
I have my dad's old shoe shine kit.
Mm.
You know, the one with the shoe where you
Oh
place your
yeah.
foot on it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. I have my dad's old shoe shine kit.
Oh
I love
yeah.
that thing.
Mhm. You go over to Donna's house and she'll shine your shoes for a couple of bucks. Yeah.
$2.50.
Excuse me. Excuse me. But we're talking a lot about how to, dress professional and how to make sure that you pay attention to details. We mentioned about the shoes, we talked about doing your nails and all that, because it just shows that you've got enough respect for yourself to be properly prepared.
Right.
And make sure you show up about 10 minutes early before the interview. I
10 to
don't
15
care.
minutes.
Yeah, because you won't be stressed out. You give you a chance to sit down, relax, take a deep breath and relax, and just put yourself in a position where you'll be facing the door if possible, that the interviewer will come through and all that. And it's very, very important, because it's so important to be able to be relaxed before you go in and prepare your mind. It just really is great.
And
And
if
I'm
I can also make a comment on that,
sure.
one of the things I would highly suggest
Mhm.
is that you put this away before your interview. Don't be on your phone and
Mhm.
doing this and doing that. And somebody comes out and says, "Hey, Donna, ready to,
Mhm.
ready to see you now." Oh, okay, just a minute. So you're finishing it up and you're closing out your phone and then you
Mhm.
put it in your purse or your pocket or whatever.
Mhm.
Pardon me. I would not suggest doing that. I would suggest keep
No,
your phone put away.
exactly right. And make sure you mute your phone while you're in there too.
Oh, yes, that's
And
important.
you can live without your phone for 10 or 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I mean, because you may not believe this, young guys, but we actually grew up without phones, except for the
Right,
one in the house, you know,
right. We had party calls
party lines.
or
Yeah.
party line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Party
Exactly right.
line.
Yeah. Yeah. We had four on our phone,
So
and
did we. So
yeah.
did we.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking that each house, I could be wrong on this, Donna, but didn't each house have a specific ring, like a number of rings or something?
I
Or
think so. I
there was
think
something like that. So you wouldn't pick up the neighbor's phone if they call, if someone was calling them.
right, right. I believe so. And I remember
Yeah.
picking up the phone all kinds of times to call somebody,
Oh, yeah.
and somebody was on the line. You're like, "Oops, sorry."
Yeah.
Click.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's the way our world turned. I mean, it was just, and
Very simple.
then if you're bored, you pick up the phone real quietly and listen in, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, let's go on to ties for the young men.
Okay.
Okay. So if you wear a tie,
Mhm.
again, wear something that is complementary to your shirt and your pants.
Mhm.
That's, so I'll just use this as an example. Um, a Mickey Mouse tie. Maybe that would not be appropriate for
No.
a job
No.
interview.
Mm-mm.
So you can absolutely put color in there, but again, you want it to where it really complements it
Mhm.
and it's smooth to look at to the eye. It doesn't
Oh,
go,
yeah.
"Ooh, there it is."
Yeah, exactly. And that's so important. The fact that yesterday I was talked about when I went on that job interview for Dunn Edwards, and the guy hired me, and he says, I told the joke. It was actually a true story, how he said, "Well, I'll always do this when I hire a person, either inside sales or outside sales." And he says, "Sell me this lighter." And I picked it up and said Zippo, and it's a name brand, da 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 da. And I put it in my pocket, and I said, $1.50, you can have your lighter back. But when I showed up there, I had a blue and white striped shirt, and I actually had a white tie on.
Okay, I was just going to get to that. Striped shirts, you
Mhm.
always, always, always wear a solid color tie.
Yes, yes, yes.
So black, blue,
Mhm,
white,
mhm,
whatever. Always whatever the color that accents your
mhm.
shirt your pants and a
Yeah.
coat if you're wearing it. Solid color tie.
And if you're like me and you're a guy and you don't know if this will be a good tie for the shirt, when you're there buying it, ask someone. It could be a lady, especially preferably a female.
Mhm.
Ask us, ma'am, can I ask your opinion on this? Does this tie look good with this shirt? They'll be glad to
Right.
let you know because ladies have that unique eye that we don't have.
Absolutely.
They also got that unique brain that we don't have either. Absolutely.
That's true. Jim speaks the truth.
Yep.
Live long and
Yeah.
prosper.
There you. Yeah, I forgot to do that, didn't I? Well, I got my sore finger here, so
No excuses, Jim.
yeah, I know it.
Ta-da.
I
I
know
can
it.
do it twice.
Yeah, I'm mentally challenged. That's what it is.
Oh my goodness. So, accessories all the way around
Mm-hmm.
for men, for women. So
Mm-hmm.
a simple watch if you wear a watch,
Mm-hmm.
earrings. So for earrings for women, they should be a little bit more on the conservative side,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit smaller hoop than maybe you'd go out if you're going out with your friends. Same with your necklaces.
Mm.
Same with your necklaces. They want to be a little bit more simple.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people take it, believe it or not, as showboating.
Yes.
They take it as showboating,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of important to know. So keep them kind of muted down. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, for the gentleman, a belt is usually a good way to go.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right, Donna. And just remember that, you can get one specific outfit just for job interviews. You
Mhm.
really can. And it won't cost you that much. And, it's, but make sure it's conservative, make sure it's kind of basic, and just make sure it makes you look professional. Look at yourself in the mirror.
Right.
It's very important. And I'd like to now, if we could, cover some body language.
Oh, please, let's do this.
Oh, body language, because if when you walk across the floor, walk don't walk confident or cocky, but just your head up, and you're alert and you smile and all that. You don't want to be heading
Right.
into the office when the guys, or gals calling you in. You go, you know,
Right.
looking like a chicken pecking corn off the ground or something. But
That's
it comes to
important.
body language. A lot of people wonder what is body language is how you're projecting your attitude, you're projecting how you feel, you're projecting everything about you, and they're looking at that. And for example, Donna, if I'm sitting here and we're on the TV show and I'm going like this, I'm stalling,
Hmm.
and that is not a positive image. It
No.
really is not at all.
And you want to make sure that you have direct eye contact.
Yes, critical.
So direct eye contact is so important. I cannot
Yeah.
stress that enough.
Like if
Nobody wants,
Donna's, like
nobody
if
wants,
Donna's talking to me right now and I'm like this.
right. He's tuned me out. I'm not important.
Right.
Snap to it, Jim. I'm important.
That's right. I'll write that down so I don't forget. And
Right.
that's why it's best to leave your phone in your car.
Hmm.
Because if that thing jiggles, you might want to have a tendency to subconsciously pull that out. And if I pull out my phone and look at my phone and Donna's talking to me, that is a major disconnect right there.
Hmm.
It really is.
It's
And mirror and match the person that's interviewing you. It makes them feel comfortable.
right.
If they lean forward like this and they're talking to you, you lean forward too. And
Now,
if they lean
obviously,
back, Mhm. and if they
right.
lean back a little bit, just lean back with them, mirror and match them.
Right.
It's just like look at yourself in the mirror. You do
Right.
the same thing, right?
And so here's something else. Watch the fidgeting because we get
Mm.
nervous, right? Dang it, we're just humans and we get nervous.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, people have a tendency to crack their knuckles and, um, maybe they twirl a ring or
Mhm.
what have you. Don't do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That will blow
Yeah.
that interview and how you're dressed. My suggestion, and this has always been my suggestion, if you're nervous, press your foot to the bottom of your shoe. Nobody can see that,
Mhm.
right? So it's grounding you, number one. It's grounding your energy, but it's
Mhm.
giving you, okay, it's there. That is taking the
Mhm.
place of me being nervous.
Mhm.
That's important.
It really is, Donna. And there is another thing that's very, very important: communication. And I'm going to cover this and I'm going to share with you why communication is important. If you
Mhm.
notice here on the TV show here and even on the radio show, I talk a little slower and I focus on pronouncing my words, phonetically. And that's how everybody knows when I mispronounce a word, at least I did it correctly, right? But my point being, let me explain something. Uh, Many times we talk to others just like we talk to our family and friends. My grandson, for example, has that fast little chatter. I'm going like, whoa, 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 slow down.
Right.
You've lost me. And in my hometown close by, there was a town. It's spelled Cherryville, Cherryville, there in North Carolina. But back there, it's not pronounced Cherryville. It's pronounced Cherryville. It's not pronounced Cherryville. I slipped up there. It's pronounced Cherryville. And if someone asks you where you're from, I grew up in Cherryville, North Carolina. Okay, they don't have a clue what the name
Right.
is. And a lot of times too, when you're talking, you have that little chatter, and the person's got to understand you. The person's got to be able to have time what you're saying to sink in.
Mhm.
And I see people get on get on camera. They're doing live,
Oh, yeah.
shows and all that, and they talk to people around the world just like they're talking to their family and friends. And if you're trying to sell somebody something, and if they do not understand what you're saying, they're not going to buy your product or service.
Right. Right.
And so if the person interviewing you cannot understand, you might as well, hang it up right there because you're dead. And when you're nervous, here's a nicety to know. When you're nervous, take a deep breath and relax because you're going to be nervous in an interview. No
Sure.
big deal. But when you talk, you pronounce your words phonetically, you slow down, that calms you down.
Take a big breath in through your nose, out through your mouth,
Yeah. Mhm.
and it will calm you down. And here's something else.
Mhm.
So obviously, I have a very unusual last name. My entire
Mhm.
life, I've had to. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce your last name, Donna?
Mhm.
Quinoa. What? Quinoa. Oh, okay. What nationality is that? Okay, I'm French. Say, don't worry about it. Here's how you pronounce it, and I give them the phonetic version.
Mhm.
GEEN-WA. So when I give somebody the phonetic version of my last name, it
Mhm.
immediately puts them at ease because it
Mhm.
is a difficult name and they understand, wow, this person is reaching out to me, making
Mhm.
me feel comfortable
Right.
in something that I don't quite use every day and
Mhm.
understand. So it's the same
Yeah.
way when you talk to them. You want them to make, you want them to make you comfortable, but you want to make them comfortable too.
Mhm. And it's perfectly acceptable too, because I've said this many times to people. I've said, "How do you pronounce your last name, please?" And add the "please" to it. That's
Hmm.
critical. That
It
shows
took Jim
respect.
3 months with my last name.
Well, I mean, who can pronounce good art?
My ex-husband or my husband now says, yeah, I it looks like Gooniardi.
Gugnardi. There you go. There you go. Yeah, because
Oh, good.
I asked Don, a good friend of ours. We get ready to go out to Phoenix. I says, Don, the lady Donna. Yeah. how do you pronounce her last name? Don says, I don't know. He said, I've heard it pronounced 3 different ways.
Oh, goodness.
And while
But
we're on that subject, have a little fun, Donna. How's people give some examples of how your name has been pronounced other than Gunyard?
oh my goodness. Uh, they've butchered the spelling of it so many times. Gwenard,
Gurnard. Mm-hmm.
Gurnard,
Gurnard. Mm-hmm.
Gennard,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've had
Mm-hmm.
that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
growing up, it was hysterical getting the mail and seeing if they would, especially junk mail, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing, I'd be like to my mom and dad, this is a new one. We haven't had this one before. So
That's
in my
amazing.
entire life,
Mhm.
the only person who has ever pronounced my name correctly the first time I
Your
ever met him
doctor,
was my brain
brain
surgeon.
surgeon. Mhm.
Mhm. Yep. Right there, I knew he was a winner.
Yeah. There you go. Especially if he's going to be working on my brain, I think I feel more confident he knew how to pronounce my name.
Right? Especially since he did it 3 times.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's very, very important to, when you meet someone, to extend your hand and give them a handshake. That is
Okay.
critical. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's same for men and women.
Mhm.
Sometimes our younger generation, Jim, would you agree with this? Feel like a woman doesn't need to give a handshake.
Yep. 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 Mhm.
And I know we're a little older, but
Mhm.
that is absolutely, in my opinion, necessary.
It's better to be safe than sorry, because if you do not shake their hand, especially because usually the person interviewing you is going to extend their hand.
Right.
And if you're uncomfortable with that, practice it with someone.
Right.
And do not give the wet fish handshake. That is, every time it happens to me, I hate it. Makes you
Well,
want
it
to go
gives
wash
me
your
the
hands.
chilies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes introverts, when they're going to shake hands, it's kind of like, okay, let's hurry up and get this over. Slow down, shake the hand.
You don't want to shake it too soft. You don't
Mm-mm.
want to shake it too firm. It's not
Mm-mm.
it's not a grip match with your
Right.
buddy next door.
Yeah.
But it does need to be firm, because that tells you, hi, Jim, I'm Donna Guinois.
hmm
And that you are absolutely conveying who you are and that you are glad to meet them.
You're displaying that you're confident.
hmm
That's what people want in you. They want confidence. Can you do the job? Well, no. That's lack of confidence. They're not going to hire you. Can you do the job? I would love and welcome the opportunity to work here. I really would. And we're going to cover here in a minute about the interview question. Why should we hire you? Because
Right.
that freight train's coming down the track, ain't it, Donna?
It is. But I'd also like to say, just to wrap up the handshake, when
Right.
you meet them, you shake their hand. And then when the interview is over, you put your hand out and say, thank you, Jim, or Mr.
Mhm.
Grant, however it is that you have been talking to this person.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time and
Mhm.
your time to
Mhm.
interview me for this job.
And if you're not real sure how to pronounce quinoa, just, stand up, ma'am, thank you so very much.
Yep.
It's my pleasure. Or, sir, thank you so much. And see, that way you're safe. You
Yeah,
show
you're
respect
covered.
and you're safe. Mrs. Guard, thank you very much. You've insulted her, right?
Right.
And just play it safe like that. And it's very, very critical. It's like Donna says, the handshake must be firm. It must be, just a very appropriate, and practice that, because young people do not much shake hands. They do high fives and all this bumping
Fist
and stuff.
bumps.
Yeah. That will not float.
Right.
That,
And so, and it's okay at the end of the interview, when you shake their hand, say, Mr. Grant, it was a pleasure. Thank you for your
Mhm.
time in interviewing
Yeah.
me. I
Mhm.
look forward to hearing from you soon.
Sure. Now, with the COVID virus, there were people that didn't want to shake hands. They do the bump fist and all that.
Uh-huh.
If the interviewer, you remember now, mirror and match. If the interviewer is going to extend their fist like that or whatever, just for a bump fist, you can do the same thing. And then
Yep.
when you get ready to leave, sir, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this interview. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Right.
And see, that would be acceptable. That would be appropriate. And
Absolutely.
hey, man, can I have a high five before I go? you know, but body language is huge.
It is.
And when it comes to your personal stuff, make sure if you're a lady and got a purse, sit it down beside you. If you're a guy and got a briefcase, sit it down beside you. Don't put it on your lap. Keep your hands on the table if you're sitting at a table. That body language is saying to them, I have nothing to hide.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in front of a group of people and you're speaking, if you put your hand in your pocket, do you know what that body language says to the subconscious mind? This person's trying to get in my pocket. He wants my money. And that's the way our brains work. I'm not making this up, because in the military, I was taught it was okay to put, the first this much of my hand into my pocket and just use one hand, and because I had a bad habit, because I had a pointer, and I would take the pointer and bang it against my other hand. And the instructor, thank goodness, stopped me and says, Jim, don't do that, because some of the younger troops may think you're ready to beat the snot out of them.
Right.
So I traded that pointer in for a little laser pointer.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put my hand like that in a pocket, it made me look a lot more professional, presentable, and all that. And make sure that you pick up on these things we're talking about. And when you walk, walk confidently, walk smoothly, hold your head up, and have a good positive image to you, because posture is a big part of that, isn't it, Donna?
It is. And not only your head, but your shoulders.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're sitting in a chair, make sure that you sit a little bit straighter, not slumped over like you do at home watching TV, that you want to sit a little straighter and just a skosh forward.
Yes.
That displays that you're interested.
Yes. Because if you're sitting in a chair like this, you look like you're bored. Like, what am I doing here?
Right.
Oh my goodness, we're out of time. We got to hit that big question. So I'm going to ask the question here, the interview question, and the interview: why should we not hire you, or why should we hire you? What would you say? Because that question will pop up when you least expect it.
And almost every single time. That's
exactly. And what we can share with you right now is that when you're asked that question, you got to be prepared. You got to do your homework. We can't sit here and give you the textbook answer, because there is no textbook answer, because every business is different.
Right. But and it depends on the job you're applying for. Okay. So if you're applying, say, for an entry, for a receptionist position, and they say, why should I hire you? Say, I'm so glad you asked that question, Mr. Grant. I love working with people. I have a great personality, and I am detail oriented. And I want to make sure every person that either comes through the door or that I speak to on the phone feels special and appreciated.
And rest assured, the other job outlets who are competing with you, they're too lazy to read up on the company. Right. Use what the company does to your advantage. Tell them how
into your verbiage.
Yeah. And if they have, if they like, a lot of companies like to participate in certain volunteer efforts.
Right.
And just say, I'd love to be in. I've always had a fondness for, whatever it is, or I know people who have suffered from this, and I'd like to get involved in that and contribute back to society. Whew. How huge would that be?
Right. And you say it in such a way, say, Mr. Grant, I understand that you work, your company does a fundraiser once a year for the Heart Association.
Yes, ma'am.
And, that is so near and dear to me, because heart issues run in my family. And that is another reason in all honesty, that I would love to work for your company because you give back. And that's
Yeah,
who I am too.
you bet. And that goes a lot better than someone just sitting there that's shabbily dressed. They didn't clean their fingernails. Their shoes are not shined. You're going to be like years ahead of them.
Mhm.
You really will. And see, there's a lot of things that we talked about during this week. And we're going next week on some things that teens need to know how to do for themselves.
Right. That's more stuff around the house, if you will.
Physical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands on.
Hands-on around the
Yeah.
house. And we
Yeah.
are super excited about that show as
Yeah.
well.
Now, on
Mhm.
Monday, for example, we're going to be talking about how to do little simple basic things as far as checking things on your car and stuff like that. Because the secret in life is that when it comes to vehicles, you schedule maintenance.
Right.
If you don't, maintenance will schedule
Schedule
you.
you.
And when things break down, it's at the worst time.
It always is. It's the
Yeah,
worst time financially. So
it really is.
really important that things we're going to be going over next week,
Mhm.
folks. And
You
and
bet.
our teens and our young adults really understanding you don't
Mhm.
have to understand how an engine is, take it out and rebuild it and put it
Right,
back
right.
together.
Mhm.
But it is good to know the basics because it gives you an idea of the
Mhm.
scheduling of maintenance,
Mhm.
and that is huge for extending the life engine of your car.
Yeah, you bet. And you take, for example, if you don't ever raise the hood and you don't see that the serpentine belt in there doesn't have, if it's got cracks, you want to schedule get that thing replaced because you're going down the road and that serpentine belt, comes apart, breaks. It's like a big rubber band for you folks that don't know what a serpentine belt is.
And let me tell you, you usually have to have special tools, and I know this from firsthand
Oh, yeah.
experience. You have to have a special tool to put that sucker on there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's good. It's got a tension pulley on there and just put a socket on there and, but we'll get into that too. But my point being, if you have the wisdom like that and just common sense to say, that looks worn. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. That will save you from going down the road and that thing coming off because it will come off at the inopportune time. You lose your power steering. I mean, it's just your car starts overheat. I mean, it just
I've been there,
complicates
done that.
because it turns everything in the engine. It really
Yes, it
does.
does. Yes, it
Mhm.
does. Oh my goodness. Well, Jim, we are out of time.
You promised I could sing today, but I see how that went.
Yeah, well, we're out of time, Jim. That's all I can
Hmm.
say about that. And you're
She
singing.
said I could sing solo today. Solo,
No,
nobody else in here.
I said you could sing so long. So
Oh, so
long.
long. Okay. So long. Goodbye. Last time she let me sing was tenor. That was 10 or 12 miles away from everybody
Right.
else. But we hope you had a wonderful time with us during this week on the show. We look forward to you being with us next week. Make sure on the weekend that you look for ways to bless yourself, look for ways to love yourself, look for ways to give thanks for what you have. My goodness gracious, that is huge.
Yes, it is.
And when you love yourself enough, give yourself grace and say, okay, I made a mistake there.
Mhm.
Apologize to where it's appropriate, excuse me, but also to forgive yourself
Right.
and forget about it. Let it go.
Mhm.
If someone wants to keep bringing up to you what you've already forgiven and asked forgiveness for, and you let it go and they keep wanting to throw it in your face, let them go. They're
Mhm.
toxic. Donna talks a lot about toxic people. Persons, places, and things that are toxic.
Yep.
Get out of there.
Absolutely.
Do some spring cleaning now, right?
Oh, goodness.
Well, we're out of time. And again, we hope you and your loved ones are healthy, happy, and safe in all areas of your life. We hope and pray that you and your loved ones are enjoying a family life filled with love and blessings. We'll see you next week. Have a good
Bye,
weekend.
folks.
Bye bye.